Welcome to this video on outdoor training for dogs. Have you ever wondered why your dog does fantastically at home, can be super focused and engaged with you, but the moment you step out of the house or you bring out your leash, your dog has zero cares for you? It's like you don't exist anymore. Well, great, then this video is for you. We're going to be exploring the factors that affect your dog's behavior outdoors. We're going to understand the reasons behind that. We're going to teach you how to establish more trust, establish a stronger bond with training so that you can achieve better training results. There's also factors that influence your dog's behavior outdoors that we will roughly go through. There are practical tips for enhancing the response you get from your dogs outdoors. And of course, what the benefits are: enhanced communication, better obedience, and a better relationship overall. So, understanding canine behavior. Firstly, we'll examine the role of instincts that drive your canine's behavior. Dogs are inherently programmed with certain instincts, such as hunting or territorial behavior, which can manifest in their responses to stimuli encountered outdoors. Understanding how these instincts influence their actions is crucial for tailoring our training methods to effectively address their natural inclinations. Next, we'll dive into the impact of socialization on a dog's behavior. Past experiences and interactions with other dogs, humans, or their environment in general can play a very significant role in shaping how dogs respond to various situations. Positive socialization experiences can instill confidence and good behavior, while negative experiences, to no surprise, may lead to fear or aggression. So acknowledge the influence of socialization so that you can work to mitigate any negative effects and foster more positive behaviors, especially in your outdoor environments. And then, of course, there is the significance of environmental stimuli in eliciting responses from our dogs. Outdoor settings are rich with sensory inputs, such as your sights, your sounds, your smells, and even your textures, all of which can capture a dog's attention and influence their behavior. You have to recognize the impact of these stimuli so that you can proactively manage your dog's environment and implement strategies to help them focus and respond to your commands or cues effectively. So, this video aims to deepen our understanding of the many factors that contribute to our dog's behavior outdoors. I'm going to be dissecting these elements so that you guys can gain a better insight into the intricacies of canine psychology. The best thing that we can do is to empower ourselves to devise a better approach to your training that helps your dog, especially with their natural instincts, their experiences, and overall their environmental surroundings as well. I really hope that this will help you pave the way for a more meaningful connection, a stronger bond, and of course, a more fulfilling relationship with your furry companions. So, for your outdoor training, identifying obstacles. Understanding the challenges faced while training dogs outdoors is crucial for success. From distractions to environmental factors, there are various obstacles to consider. So, these are the most common obstacles. There are, of course, dogs out there which have specific ones. Leave them in the comments below. The first one is, of course, your other animals. So, encounters with other animals such as squirrels, birds, or more commonly, other dogs can easily divert a dog's attention away from their owner, you, and training exercises as well. The sight, the scent, or the movement of these animals can trigger a very strong instinctual response in dogs, leading them to become fixated or reactive. Next is noises. So your outdoor environments are often filled with a symphony of sounds. There's traffic, there's sirens, there's people talking, there's construction work, especially in Singapore. These loud or unfamiliar noises can startle your dogs and will disrupt their focus during training. Next, of course, is scents. So we all know dogs have an incredible sense of smell. Outdoor environments are teeming with a lot of enticing scents. That's how they learn. From the scent of other animals to maybe food residue, natural odors, all of these smells can easily distract the dog and lead them to explore, to investigate, instead of focusing on you or training. The fourth one, weather conditions. Extreme weather conditions like strong winds, heavy rain, could be snowing, it could be extremely hot. They all pose challenges for outdoor training sessions. Uncomfortable weather can affect a dog's willingness to engage in training activities and may cause them to seek shelter instead. or become restless. Then, of course, there's the visual stimuli. Visual stimuli are things that, such as moving objects, someone walking by, unfamiliar surrounding. All of these can capture your dog's attention and draw them away from the focus on you. Dogs can become curious or can become alert in response to these visual cues, making it very difficult for them to concentrate on commands. Last but not least, human distractions. The presence of other people, particularly if they're engaging in activities that can attract attention, like joggers passing by, children playing and shouting, or people having a picnic right next to where you're doing your training. All of these things are considered distractions for your dogs as well. So, what can we do about them? First and foremost, you need to build trust. You need to have a very strong bond with your dog. You need to have a very good understanding of canine behavior, and you need to use the most effective training techniques out there. These are a few of the most proven methods. Positive reinforcement, obviously. If you're new to this channel, you will soon find out that we are purely positive. Next is clear communication. The cues and body languages that you use when you talk to your dog, they have to be consistent. If there's more than one person training your dog, everyone has to be on the same page for it. Next is mental stimulation. Make sure your dog is not bored. If you ask your dog to do sit for 100 days in a row, 10 times a day, eventually they're going to get bored. Gradual exposure. So introduce distractions slowly to build focus. This is the biggest one. I believe that a lot of people would know the first three. The gradual exposure part of this is a pretty big one, and I'm going to cover more on that. So consistency is key in dog training, especially in outdoor settings where distractions are all around. Your consistent cues help your dog understand what is expected of them, whether it's a simple command like sit or it's a hand signal for a recall. You have to use the same cues consistently. You help your dog learn and respond more reliably. The more consistent you are, the more reliable your dog becomes as well. Additionally, consistent rewards reinforce desired behaviors and motivate your dog to repeat them. Whether you're using verbal praise as a secondary reinforcer or you're using treats or toys, rewards must always be delivered promptly and consistently to reinforce the behavior you want to see. One very common mistake, of course, is a lot of people tend to call their dog's name throughout the day and not have a reward ready. So if you're not consistent in doing that, you can't blame your dog for not responding to you every single time you call their name. Or worse, you ask your dog to sit 10 times in a row. You go sit, 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 sit. Good girl. Or reset. If you keep asking your dog to sit 10 times in a row, I mean, if you keep saying sit 10 times in a row, just hoping that you think that your dog didn't hear you the first few times. They did. It's just that you've been repeating it so many times. They think that the cue for sit is you saying sit 10 times, so they only sit on the 10th time. So be more consistent with communicating with your dog. Okay, for your gradual exposure, start by introducing your dog to very mild distractions and gradually increase the level of difficulty as they become more comfortable. Their level of comfort can only be assessed by if you hire a proper trainer or by you learning more about your dog. For example, if your dog is reactive to other dogs, begin by practicing at a distance where they can see another dog. They can see another dog from far away, but they're still calm. They can look at the dog, but they're not hyper focused. They're not hyper fixated on that trigger. Then use very high value treats or toys to redirect their focus back to you, and you reward them for doing so. Over time, you gradually decrease the distance between your dog and the trigger while reinforcing this focus and this redirection. Similarly, for noises, start with a low level sound and gradually expose your dog to a louder sound. That's it. Just increase the volume bit by bit. And always pair this exposure with a positive reinforcement technique. This gradual desensitization helps your dog learn to remain focused on you despite distractions. This builds their confidence and trust in you. Now, that's the first part. Gradual exposure has two parts. One, which I just talked about. The second one, which a lot of people seem to forget, there's gradual exposure of your obedience training cues as well. If your dog can do a sit beautifully at home with no issues whatsoever, can your dog do it when he or she is engaged with a toy? Can your dog do it in all parts of the house? Can your dog do it at the lift lobby or your front yard? Because majority of training takes place at home, especially in the beginning stages. Once you're excelling at all that, it's time to up the difficulty by doing all of those cues outdoors now. You start by doing those cues, but you open the front door. And then you start doing them just right outside your house, and then a couple of feet away, so on and so forth. So, to help you guys better understand this, here's a very simple exercise I do with Blue very regularly, and Ori as well. It's called the art of attention. It's very simple. It's calling your dog's name, getting them to look at you, and then you reward them with a piece of treat or whatever it is you guys use. Here we go. So, very simply, these are all just really short clips of me doing this exercise with Blue in various scenarios. I always look for the opportunity to reinforce something. So even when we're out on a walk or whatever, you guys will see this. There you go. There you go. But yeah, so now in that video, the reward itself is saying good girl, which has already been conditioned as a secondary reinforcer. If you need to learn more about that, you can check out our other videos about secondary reinforcers and all that. But that was what I meant. There's always an opportunity to reinforce training. You just have to look out for it. In conclusion, successful outdoor training with your dog hinges on consistency, understanding, and gradual exposure to distractions. You have to provide clear cues and very consistent rewards so that you can establish effective communication and build trust. Gradually exposing your dog to external stimuli or triggers while teaching them to focus on you fosters a lot of confidence and responsiveness. Ultimately, outdoor training is never easy, but I really hope this video helps guide you along the right path.